Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back again. I just wanted to remind you about some of the great things we talked about last week. Miles shared so much with you about his garlic plants and his grapevines, and we read this book that maybe you remember about how plants go from being seeds to plants. And I had said that I was going to show you how to germinate a seed, or how to get a seed started from being a seed into turning into a baby plant. And I just want to show you something, because after we met last time, I actually started a seed just the way I'm going to show you to do it today. And I want to just show you what it looks like, because I'm so excited. It's starting to germinate, and so I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so in this plastic bag here, I had put a wet paper towel, which is what we're going to do today, and I put one of these cannellini seeds on top of this wet paper towel and kept it in the bag. And in about 6 days, it went from looking like this seed to looking like this. So I'm going to just take this out of the bag and show you what it looks like up close. Oops, I think I just closed the bag instead of opening it. Hang on, bear with me for just a minute. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to take this wet towel out, and if you look very closely at this seed, you can see it's starting to turn into a plant. That is either the stem growing out of the seed, or it's part of the root. I'm not sure yet. In a few days I'll know for sure what it is. But you can see the seed has a coating around it, and it's starting to split and shed off. This part of the seed is the food that the new plant is using to grow. And it's the same food that we eat when we eat beans and things like that. If you've ever had bean soup, that bit of the seed has a lot of nutrition in it, which is good for the new plant that's growing. It's also good for us when we eat seeds and eat beans. Okay, so before I show you how to get that all started, I'm going to take you on a little trip around my garden, because not all plants germinate from seeds. So let's take a look at some plants that come back each year. Okay, so now I'm out in my garden. This is part of my garden, and these are some new plants that are starting to grow from the ground. And I just want to show you, these plants are not growing from seeds right now, although they did start from seeds at one point a long time ago. And then they grew these parts here, these parts that are kind of brownish. They're called rhizomes. And every year when this plant in the fall dies down, the rhizomes stay alive under the ground. And then in the springtime, when it gets a little warmer and the season changes, they get a signal to start growing again. And you can see that my iris rhizomes are really starting to grow. They're very short right now, but by May they'll be about 3 feet tall, which is very exciting. And then they'll grow some flowers. So those are called perennials. Perennials are flowers that come back every year. And these red-leafed flowers, plants, are also perennials. These are called coral bells. And let me just show you a few other things that I have growing in my garden. Okay, this is my patio. I have some patio pots and things. And over there I have a big grapevine. So Miles, that might be what yours looks like eventually. A lot of fun. We sit under there in the shade quite a bit. What I wanted to show you were these plants, this plant right here. This is a perennial also, and it comes back every year. When it gets a little bigger, it's going to have a nice purple flower on it. These are chives, and chives you can eat. They have a really nice flavor if you put them into eggs or into soup and things like that. So I'm actually going to pick some, not too many because they're still growing. I'm going to break off a few, and I'm going to keep them inside and have them with my scrambled eggs in the morning. So those are my chives. They're perennials. And these are some tulips that are growing. And over here is another herb. This is called sage. And this comes back every year also. And I'm going to pick a little bit of that too, because later on I'm going to make some pea soup. And I can put some of that sage in my pea soup. It's going to be really nice, give it a good flavor. So I have some herbs here that I can use. Okay, so now I'm out in the front of my house, and I have a stone wall that goes along the front part of my yard. And I wanted to show you something that I really am excited about because I just love the first flowers of spring. You can see there's some snow still melting from our last snowstorm, but look at this. My first spring flowers. How exciting is that? I think it's great. I have a lot of other plants that are growing along this wall here, and maybe in a couple of weeks I'll have a lot more to show you. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so I'm back inside at my table on my sun porch where I have all my seeds in little containers and planting things. And I've got 3 white beans, 3 cannellini beans, and 3 black beans, just because those are the kinds of beans that I have. You can use red kidney beans, you can use pinto beans, which have speckles on them, or whatever kind of bean you might have. And I'm going to use 3, and I suggest that when you set your little bag up with bean seeds, that you use 3 or 4 beans, because sometimes they don't start growing, and you don't want to start one seed and have it be a dud. When you can start a couple, and maybe you'll get all of them, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 that actually grow. So the first thing, I want to make sure that I have extra paper towels, which I do, and you're going to need a plastic bag. You can use a bigger one or a smaller one, it doesn't really matter. The one that I have this bean in is a little bit big. These are a lot smaller, but they'll still work. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my paper towel, and I folded it in half once. I'm going to fold it in half again, and I'm going to get it nice and wet. So I have some water in this jar here, so I'm going to dip that in there. I'm going to just squeeze out the extra water. Keep it nice and damp. I'll shake it out a little bit. And then I'm going to take my seeds and I'm going to put them on the paper towel, and I'm going to put them in the bag. Hang on just a minute. I think I have to put my phone down for a second while I do this, so don't go away. I'm putting the paper towel in the bag with the seeds. And there they are. They're ready to go. I'm going to leave them just like that. I'm going to close the flap. I'll do that later when my hands are free. And I'm going to do the same thing in this bag. I'll set up another bag later on with a couple of extra seeds. Now I'm going to set up several bags with some seeds in case some of you at home don't have seeds and aren't able to do this. So then you can let Miles know or let us know somehow, and I'll put your name on a bag so that you have a set of seeds that are growing somewhere, and you can take a look at them next week perhaps and see how they're doing. Okay, so I'm going to leave these here. I can take a look at them every day. They probably won't do anything much for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then all of a sudden they're going to start to sprout, and it's going to be really kind of cool to watch them as they keep sprouting. When this part of the sprout gets big, there should be another part that comes out that has either the stem or the roots, depending which is missing, and then they can be transplanted into some kind of a container. Use a recycled oatmeal container that I can fill with dirt and plant it in there. And then when it gets really big, I can plant it outside in my yard and see what happens, how it grows. So I hope you get your seeds started, and I'm excited to hear how your seeds do. See you soon.